Kavar dubar pamim, we already spoke many times. Shebakol echad mi'parshas, that all of the 53, or here it says 54 seders of the Torah, there are nekuda miyuchedes, there's something special, namely that the name nekuda zushi abriach hatichon, this is like a central pillar that holds the whole Torah together, namely that the name of the portion of each Torah tells what that portion is talking about. Here, let's see, here it says, the division of the scriptures into chapters was done by non-Jews in the 13th chapter. So it seems that it was done by the Christians in the 13th century. Yes, okay. 13th century. Now we're in the 21st century. So that means that 1 minute. That one's like 800 years ago. So 800 years ago, this is the Rambam writes that some people used to finish the Torah once every 3 years, and some people that. So was it divided up into portions? I guess they would just read until they wanted to. They would read every week until they just decided to stop. But then he said the Christians eventually, they were the ones that separated the Torah.
Rabbi, is this connected to JC at all?
No, not at all.
But
It just happened to be that these people, they were interested in the Torah. So in order to make it easier for them to learn, so they divided it up. It has nothing to do with their actual religion.
it has nothing to do with JC.
No. Doesn't. So, mikach moving, now we can understand that the attachment between all of the parshas and that, all of the paragraphs in that whole section, av ben inyan rishon lachron, even between the first thing and the last, limarocha parshas rabos muvdalas beinim, even though there could be that there's a lot of incidents and ideas that separate between the first idea of the weekly portion and the last idea, the last line, even though that there are other attachments which are much stronger from the kesher being Sivan, Parsha Achas, the Tchilas Parsha Shel Achareh, but nevertheless, these are, even though there's some things are one next to each other, ideas in the portion. Avol davar hamochiach sheish b'neihem kesher, shehari kevan she'inyanim elu nilchokim b'shtei parshiot shonot, hari muchach shetochnim hayikra shon. In other words, the beginning of one portion and the end of the one before it has less of a connection, even though they're right next to each other, than the beginning of this week's portion and the end of the same portion. Because they're all under the same name, so therefore they have the same importance. Right? Something is linking them together. Lifamim, sometimes, af yitachem, that the kesher bein techilas the parsha and the end of the parsha, shelefaneo, is often shlili. Sometimes there's a negative connection. Okay, so now we have to understand what is the connection between Korach, that's this week's portion, and the Rebbe being freed from prison, and the sun stopping. Mikach muvan, from this it is understood, Lagabi aparshot shebaparshia, the ideas, the paragraphs that are in our section, Shakesher shebein inyan shel va'ani natati l'cha et mishmira trumati. One of the things that are in this portion is that God gave the presents to the Kohanim, ha'osak b'matnas kuhuna, to the argument of Korach, Eino rak b'kach shekol chav daled matanos, that the 24 gifts were given by means of Korach because he made trouble for the kahuna. What happened? Korach made a war. He made a war against Aaron, and he lost the war. And because of that, God gave 24 gifts to the Kohanim. Right? The Kohanim, they receive big portions of every animal that's slaughtered, the jaw and the leg. The Kohanim, they receive the first fruits. And there's 22 other things that the Kohanim receive. They receive all the truma, etc. They receive all. They said this must have some sort of a big connection to the argument of Korach on Aaron. The 24 gifts. In addition to the fact that the 24 gifts came because Korach lost. What's the connection? Let's see. Kav Daled Matnot, these 24 gifts are attached somehow or other to the argument of Korach himself. Not because he lost. Lefichach Gam Einyan Shel Kav Daled Matanos, these 24 gifts, this is a portion which is called Korach. So in the portion of Korach is something really bad. The argument of Korach against the Jews. But there was something really good. The 24 gifts that they got. Right? Because they're all under the name Korach, so it must be some sort of a deep connection between them. And this must have something very important lesson to us in our personal lives. What is it going to be personal lesson? We'll see. Okay, Herschel. Yesh Lavin, Muhuto Shel Korach, the whole essence of Korach, Hu Lachlok, to make division, Ulahit Naged, and to oppose the Kunat Aaron. To oppose Aaron. Ben Nigud Le'inyan Shel Kav Daled Matanot Kuna. He was opposed to Aaron receiving any special gifts. Asher Hu Akotev V'chotem Umale Ba'archaim et Kahunat Aaron, that he wanted to go and wipe out the whole idea of Kahunat Aaron. He wanted to take it to court and take the whole thing away from Aaron. Keitzad Yitachen Lishnei Hafchim Elu, that these two opposites, they have something in common. So that the inyan of the gifts of the Kahuna is called Korach. What could possibly be good about this machlokas, this terrible war that Korach made? Why is called Korach? Because Korach did it. Why are the 24 gifts also called by the name Korach? It's also underneath the same parsha. Why? What's the connection between them? It must be that the argument of Korach against Aaron, there was something very positive, something very good. What's the very good thing? We'll see. Okay, Herschel. Prat Nosaf Einu Muvan. There's also something else which is not understood in the name of the portion. Al Apozak Shem Rashoim Yirkav. There is a sentence in Proverbs, and it says, the name of the evil people should be rotten away, wiped out. An evil person, you should never mention his name. Let's just forget it. Let's just turn the page. It was a terrible episode in Judaism. It was a terrible episode in my life. Right? The same thing in a person's personal life. In a person's personal life, he had trouble.
What's it called?
From an evil person, from a person that stole from him, but cheated him. If the whole his life he goes around remembering that person, thinking about it, he's going to destroy himself. What's the best thing to do? Forget it.
What if a person's Jewish?
Forget it. Just forget it. Doesn't make any difference. Makes no difference.
But what if he's Jewish?
Makes no difference.
What if he's Jewish or boy, sir?
Makes no. You have to ask every question 7 times or 8 times. How many times do you have to ask?
Okay. Let's move on. Forget
Let's move on. Oh. There we go. This is the point.
Yeah, that's the point.
When something unnecessary or negative happens, sometimes you just have to let go. Turn the page. Forget it.
And forgive.
That's right. The same thing it says in Proverbs. It says, may the name of evil people be rot. May they rot. May they go away. If something rots, it loses its shape, loses its form, and it goes away.
What if you forgive him?
It dissipates, huh? But come on, enough.
Okay. We'll talk about that another time.
How can you call a whole entire portion of the Torah on the name of an evil person? We're supposed to forget the evil people. How can we call a whole entire portion of the Torah by the name of an evil person? It says in the Torah, Rek vivos ta'ale bishmotam velo masikin bishmehu. A person should never call his son by the name of an evil person. Don't remember it. There's a person in Kfar Chabad, it was even in America. Even in America. There was some guy, a neo-Nazi, he called his son by the name of Adolf Hitler. They called his son, and they took him to court. They took him to court, and they made him change the name. Made him change his name.
How old is the son?
When he was born.
Oh, right.
He gave him his name, that was his name. Right? He was just so... anyway.
A lot of people, his real name is Nimrod.
Right, that's right, yeah. I have a good friend.
That's strange.
I have a good friend. My good friend, yes. Mikach muvan. Much more so. She'ein l'kol the safer. If you shouldn't call your own son by a bad person's name, don't call your son Bilam or Korach, right? You call him Korach. What a terrible name. Who would call his son a name like that? Korach, Bilam, Balak, right? Who would call a son like that? How much more so, you shouldn't call a whole portion of the Holy Torah by that name. That's really bad. B'shem shel Russia. Ki al yedei kach menatzchim et shmo. You eternal, you make the name of this person eternal. Harbe yoter, much more. Me'asher al yedei kriyat adam. Than if you call a person by his name. Ki haTorah yinitzes. If a person decides to call his son, right, by the name of some evil person, Adolf or whatever, or he calls him Balak. So, okay, his son is going to live for 120 years and then he's going to die. But the Torah is eternal. Here you're calling a portion of the Torah by an evil name, an evil person. Ooh, that's really bad. When God did it, how could he allow something like that to happen? It's a question. Korach haya rasha. Korach was an evil person. Asher lo shav b'tshuva, and he didn't even do tshuva. Korach, he fell into the ground. Didn't do tshuva. It says that he fell into the ground, and at the last second, he was saying, right? He was saying, maybe I'm right. It says he still believed that he was right. The last second. Rak banav asu tshuva. His children did tshuva. Keitzad yitachen. How can it be that a portion of the Torah is called on his name? The question is even stronger. Benos of the kach, in addition to that all evil people, it says, lo maskin b'shmeo, you should not mention their name. Av kesheshemam chalak, even if their name is like a simple name. Harikan gam Hashem atzmo, Korach, the name itself is Korach. Korach means division. Koreach mikanu mikan. The word Korach means a division. Matzbi al pilug machloikas. It's talking about argument and and dissension. Dissent. The Fiza, according to this, so now we have a lot of really big questions. Madua Parshat b'Torah nikra b'shem Korach. How can you call a whole portion of the Torah by the name of Korach? Call the Torah, the whole entire Torah. This whole entire portion of the Torah is called Korach. Ari nitenes lasot shalom b'olam. The Torah, the purpose of the Torah is to make peace in the world. How can you call a portion of the Torah by the name of Korach the same thing as Balak? How can you call it? Dalid. Where is Dalid? There we go. Excellent. Gam be'etzem in shel machlokas Korach ve'edaso. Also, in the argument of Korach and everybody, it's not understood. Tainasam shel kohanas Aaron. It's not understood why he argued against the priesthood of Aaron. Ki kol oida kulam kodashim b'tochem Hashem, lama titnasu al kol Hashem. How could why did Korach want to take away Aaron's job? Why did he want to take away? Okay, Herschel. L'chor at first glance, Af Korach ve'edaso chefso lios kohanim. Korach and his people, they also wanted to be kohanim. Kamuvan mitzuvas Moshe, like it says, ubikashtem gam kuna. You want to be a Kohen also, that Moshe said. If so, why him tanu umaduatis nasu taina sholele bechlalit nasu? Why did they say to Aaron? They should have said to Aaron, "Why are you the Kohen?" What did they say to Aaron? Why do you think you're better than anybody else? Why are you better than anybody? But in fact, they themselves wanted to be better than everybody else. They wanted to be the Kohens. What did it say? You open. Sure, open it.
I think isn't it only...
Great. Open it more, totally.
Isn't it only Korach that wanted to be Kohen Gadol? Maybe he doesn't want to be Kohen. Well, he wanted to be Kohen Gadol.
Good, but he still wanted that there should be such a thing as a Kohen Gadol.
Yeah, he wanted to be it.
Here we see, this is what he's going to say. Lagabi Eidas Korach, regarding the whole group of Korach, Adayin Ef Shalom, maybe we can say, Shed B'Tainatam, Medua Titnasu, that what they meant when they said, why do you elevate yourself? Aaron and Moshe, Hem Loit Kavnu Levatelet Nasut Klal. They didn't really want to negate totally this idea of there being a president or a leader or a head. Like we learned in the previous sikha, remember? They didn't like that there's an idea of a king. Asher hoya Kohen Gadol a yechid. And they also didn't like the idea that Aaron was the only Kohen Gadol. Lochen lo satra tainatam u'madu titnasu u'bikashtem kahuna. They thought, what were they saying? Why are just you and Aaron elevating yourselves? Why don't we have more Kohanim? We should join in also. That's another way of looking at it. But, and regarding Korach himself, this explains the others. The others are not so bad. The others were saying, Aaron, Moshe, you can be leaders. But we also want to be leaders. Pick other people to the same level as you. Maybe we can say that's Korach's followers. But Korach himself, he wasn't that way. He wanted that he should be the only Kohen Gadol. Hu savar shehu yeh Kohen Gadol a yechid. He wanted to be the only Kohen Gadol. If so, Taina Umaduatis Nasu, this is also on himself. What he wanted to do, he was complaining about himself also. Who says you're better than everybody else? I want to be better than everybody else. Doesn't make any sense. It's like once I went into an office and I saw there was a big sign on the wall. The main thing in life is not whether you succeed, whether you lose or win. The main thing in life is whether I lose or win. In other words, what was he saying? Usually you say the main thing in life is not whether you lose or win, but how you fought the battle or, how the thing. No, he's saying it's not, forget about you. The main thing is think about me. And that's what essentially Korach was doing. Korach said to Aaron, hey, forget about you. I don't want you to be the Kohen Gadol. You can't be a Kohen Gadol. I don't like this idea of Kohen Gadol. Nobody can be higher than anybody else. Everyone's equal. I want to be the Kohen Gadol. That contradicts everything you just said. Hey, and how is this relevant to us? That's the main thing. The Torah is very, very relevant. Deeply, deeply relevant to us. There's all these classes you can take. You go to university. You're going to go to university for years, and they never teach you anything about yourself. They just teach you about how to make money and how to, which is good. That's important, right? But a person also has to know about himself.